Hello, listeners. Welcome to another episode of the StarrCast Podcast. We are just beginning season 8. This will be episode 2, and I am really excited for our visitors today because I've been trying to talk to this company for literally 2 years, and they've been too busy or not ready, and they're ready now. So, we are going to be discussing a topic that is on everyone's lips lately: robotic massage. What is it? Why? How do we use it? And I'm going to talk to the company at the forefront, which is Aescape. Many of you have probably seen that. It's spelled Aescape. And they are coming to market now with the first product that we've seen that's just really amazing. So I'm so happy to be joined by Alex Linde, who is the Senior Vice President of Product, and Paul Nunez, the Director of Partnerships. Thank you both for joining us.
So lovely to be here.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So let's give the listeners a little bit of a background first in Aescape, maybe like how it started. I know Eric Lippman started the company, but why and what was Eric's background, or just give us an encapsulation, if you can, of the story of Aescape.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me dive in here, and Paul, please jump in as we go along here as well. So the company was founded around 7 years ago now by Eric Lippman, as you mentioned. He always had a personal neck problem and was a big fan of massage. That was one thing that would sort him out. As a serial entrepreneur, though, he always found that it was a little challenging to get exactly the massage that he needed. Either he couldn't get the right booking, couldn't get the right time, or he was traveling. He was looking for a solution that would help him address his own personal problem in a way that was reliable, repeatable, and something that he could really work on and would complement other services that he would get. So he loved a massage. He continues to love a massage with a therapist, but something that would treat that in a way that was consistent and repeatable for him as he was going through and dealing with his own personal issues. So what proceeded from that was really about a 4-year research and development project. He tried all sorts of different options. And really what it ended up with was that where he started out with massage was actually the thing that would help him the best. So with probably 300, I think in the end, iterations of different endpoints, air points as we call them, kind of cupped hands here that can actually deliver that massage. What we ended up with was a robotic massage table. The table itself, 2 robot arms, and those hands that can come in and actually deliver those therapeutic benefits. So that was roughly 2.5, 3 years ago now that the company had built a working prototype, still fairly small, just maybe a dozen people. Off the back of that, though, started to bring in investors, venture capitalists, give them demonstrations on the system. That was enough. In fact, I think one venture capitalist blurted out, "I'm sending you a term sheet," while on the table itself. We used to joke that we just needed to have a DocuSign on the table and they could just sign up to invest. But off the back of that, raised a significant amount of money, both a Series A fundraise plus then some debt financing, because building hardware like this is an expensive business, and started then to hire the team. So I'd met Eric a few years previously, and he called me up and said, "You know what? It's time." I'd been building larger technology projects in Silicon Valley for the previous 15 years or so, and we came on board, started to scale the team. So from there, hiring, as you can imagine, mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, software engineers. We've gone from probably about a dozen people back then over the last 2 years now to roughly about 210 people now. It's been quite the scale, and moved our system from that initial prototype into a full working production version that's built in a factory, and we're now deploying live with customers out in market. So it's been a journey, it's been a roller coaster, but really in many ways we're just getting started, right? It's great to see it out there.
Absolutely.
I love what you said. I visited Escape the first time, I think it was January of 23, and I had a massage, and I thought, this is pretty good. And it was, one floor and some engineers. And
Yeah.
full disclosure, I visited again yesterday in New York, and there were 3 floors full, bursting with people. And I was like, wow, this is really, really taking off. It's so exciting to see.
Yeah, yeah. And I
Paul,
mean,
you've come on board fairly recently as Director of Partnerships. Tell us a little bit about your role.
Yeah. I got introduced to Eric during COVID. Actually, a friend of mine called me up and said, "There's this guy doing this stuff with robots and massage." And I said, "Yeah, right."
Uh,
I actually had just shut down like 6 or 7 properties for Marriott, and we were kind of in a hiatus right there, and got on the phone with Eric. really hit it off with him, really saw his vision, and also, saw where this would fit in a lot of the challenges we have in the spa world with staffing issues, with guests who don't feel comfortable with human contact, especially during COVID. That was a very big deal. If you remember how important touchless therapies were and how the rise really started more and more during that period of time. Had the opportunity at that time to fly out to New York, got a massage, picked my head up off the table. If there was a DocuSign to sign to give him money, I probably would have, but I said something to the effect of, I think I want to work with you. Fast forward 2 or 3 years, did some consulting with them on the side, and then joined them full time in January of this year as director of partnerships. And my role is to work with hotels and spas and hotels without spas, country clubs, chiropractors, physical therapists, med spas, and day spas, places like that, there where we can go in and really help their business grow.
Oh, and I should have said at the onset, Paul, you're new to this industry, but you're a veteran of the spa industry, having run the Marriott Marco Island for years and just a highly regarded spa insider. So you're the perfect person to join the team. Let's let me say this one statement about robot massage, because I think when we talk about robotics, people picture a table with a robot standing next to it, like doing the massage. And of course, that's not what it is at all. It is a table with two robotic arms, yes, but I can tell you that having had a massage within the last 24 hours with it, 2 minutes in, you completely forget that it's not person. It's uncanny how the pressure feels and how it moves around your body. Obviously, all this engineering has worked. So you have a table, you lay down on the table, there's a bolster for your feet. You are in a prone position, face down. There's a big, comfortable face cradle. There is a screen, a large, beautiful touch screen underneath that. The device does a body scan of you, and then I'm going to ask Alex in a minute what happens with that information, but then the device begins, the same way a therapist would, kind of gently touching, and then, then it gets into what it does. In the meantime, you pick your music, you pick the visual that you want, or you shut your eyes. You can watch where it's going on your body. You can call someone. There's a button call, if you need to, you can pause it. I mean, it's just very well thought out. And I spent 30 minutes on the table yesterday, and I got out, and yes, I had that dreamy look that one does when you have a massage, and it was great. So yes, let's go back to the technology, Alex. When that body scan happens, what happens with that info? Like, I was so interested in now, how does that inform the device on what to do?
Absolutely, absolutely. So the way our system works is it uses depth sensors to create a 3D map of your body. So think of that as being a surface map on the outside there, and then we fit that surface map to an anatomical model of the body. We can then use that anatomical model to be able to deliver the massage itself. So that's the way the system works. That data is placed on the system itself. It's used to improve and for analytics, but we're not storing any personally identifiable information about the person. The information is completely private and secure, and we make sure that we're using that just to deliver the massage itself. And so it's roughly about 1 million data points that we take. That gives us
In one scan?
In one scan, yeah. In one scan, roughly 1 million data points, and we're able to generate to sub-millimeters. I'm European. I'm not sure if it translates that to inches, but we take sub-millimeter positioning, and we're able to create that hole, and then we're able to convert that to that anatomical model. And that's what we're doing to deliver it. So when you feel that precision that we're able to get, that's due to the quality of the scan that we can take. But like I say, that information is not personally identifiable.
Mm-hmm.
Something that we use to deliver the massage itself. I think you mentioned as well, a lot of people forget that it's a robot. We hear that in our research lab here all the time. People almost looking over their shoulder to see if the bot was taken away and someone came in instead. That's because we work with licensed massage therapists to actually develop the content itself. We think of the massage as content. And so we're able to then work with them to really make sure that we capture a lot of the nuance of massage when we're delivering that with our system.
It is indeed very nuanced. I mean, of course, you don't feel fingertips, say, but the I don't know what you call the piece that puts on the body, but it feels firm and like a hand. What do you call that, the end of it?
Yeah, we call it the air point.
The
So
air point. Okay.
yeah, we're Aescape. We call it the air point. So that it has been modeled after the different parts of the body that a therapist does use. So
Uh-huh.
one side of it has more of a blade of the hand. There is a tip on it, which is a little bit more like a thumb. There's an elbow kind of piece. And so
Right.
the robot is able to then rotate that air point around to be able to use those different parts when it's delivering different techniques. So Paul is more the expert on the techniques than me here, but we're able to deliver more intense, more firm,
Mhm.
more focused work, and more broad and gentle, more relaxing work using those different parts of the touch point.
Yeah.
Paul?
No, the remarkable aspect is what the massage therapists do to help guide this. I mean, I was with them yesterday. We were working on some new strokes that we want to release soon, and the work that goes into this is quite remarkable. I mean, it is like speaking two languages. You have to have the massage therapist that speaks their language,
Yeah.
body work, along with the programming team that's going to be actually programming the arms and the air points to be able to do those and angle it the proper way, get the right amount of pressure in so that it feels good. Like it's kind of like massaging with a fishing pole in a way. Like you feel something at the end of it, right? But everything in between there is a lot of distance. So we have to figure out how to get it to feel a certain way, flow a certain way. The pressure has to feel great, and not just for one person, but for all different body types. So when you think of it from that perspective, it's really quite remarkable.
Yeah, yeah. I think you mentioned the fingertips here. You know, we didn't set out to copy exactly what a therapist is doing. That is a different type of technique here.
Yeah.
What we're doing here is looking to complement that with different services that we can deliver using those air points on the body. And it's effective. It's effective, but different, right? It's a different type of service to a therapist.
Without question.
Yeah.
Listen, every massage therapist has their skill set, you know, and it's very individualized for what they do when they do body work. We're not really trying to duplicate that in a lot of ways, but we're trying to create our own version of a massage using the tools that we have.
Yeah.
And in so many ways, I feel like we've been incredibly successful with that.
Yeah.
Well, I would concur. I mean, I had a sore spot on my back on the upper left, and darn if this thing didn't go there and work on it. And I'm like, how does it know? Like, that's unbelievable. I also liked that it was asynchronous. Like it wasn't always doing the same thing with both arms or both air points. You know, one would kind of stay on your lower back and the other one, just like a therapist would. I mean, it was really, really well done.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a testament really to the therapists that we work with that helped us develop each of these pieces of content. And yeah, it really is again like a testament to their skills that helps us locate those different parts of the body and understand where to work. We would like to bring in more advanced sensing technology over time. There's a bunch of different things that our team is playing with. But essentially what we're doing today is we're really taking a lot of that expertise that our therapist team have, and we're capturing it within the different styles of massage that our system can deliver.
Yeah.
So does it work on AI, or, I mean, is it programmed? Like, where does the intuition come from, Alex?
Yeah, so today we spend most of our time working directly with therapists. And so you can think of it as being more of a scripted TV show where we're working with those therapists to create the programs and then deliver those against the body. There is some machine learning that enables us to take the different body shapes and sizes that we see on the table, take those massages and deliver them. Like I say, we have to scan 1,000,000 points. We have to try and understand then the physical anatomy of the person versus what we were thinking of when we originally developed that particular massage stroke or technique. So there is some work there to be able to retarget and refit. But today what we're delivering is effectively a set of sequence programs that we've developed in combination with the therapist community.
Right. Look, you get a massage, you go and you're like, how do they know where all their spots are? Like I've done well over 5,000 massages in my lifetime. A body is a body, right? And for a lot of reasons, there's going to be similar issues with multiple people. So there is always these go-to spots that massage therapists know on the body where it's going to release pressure and have tension and things like that too. And we just took all of that information and folded it into what we do now.
So teams, I will say on the AI side, it's a big hot topic out there in the industry right now. There's a few things going on. So there's definitely investigation that our team is doing in a bunch of different areas. So one example, for example, is personalization. We would like our system to learn more of what you like over time and be able to adapt and deliver things that are more of a preference for your body. So those are different areas that our team is investigating. We're going to expect to see more enhancements in the system over time there. But also on the other side, we have to be a little careful. Probably you've seen in the press that certain AI systems can have a tendency, for example, to hallucinate, like ChatGPT or maybe some of these image creation systems. And so we're not really leaping into looking at how our robot is controlled in any way around those sorts of systems, because we need to make sure that what we're delivering is absolutely safe and predictable in terms of the massage that we give. So there'll be certain parts of our system where we think about using AI, particularly around things like personalization, around the way that we're actually able to maybe talk with a member on our system around their massage preferences. But in terms of how we deliver the massage itself, I think that's something we'll take much more of a steady approach to look at technologies like that.
It's really stunning, the data, the computing power, right? When you're saying to me that that scan is 1,000,000 points, and yet it doesn't take it 10 minutes to figure out what to do. I mean, can you speak a little bit, Alex, to the engineering between Eric's original idea and what you've got, like just in layman's terms, what has gone on?
Yeah, I'll be honest, it's kind of amazing. If you look at some sketches, like pencil sketches of this system 5 years ago, it actually looks surprisingly like the system we've been able to deliver. Now, from that point, the company here and Eric in the early days worked with an industrial design team who took some of those early concepts and were able to turn it with Eric's vision into some of the beautiful system that you see in front of you today. So it's been refined, it looks very elegant, but many ways it looks kind of similar to where the original concept was. What's really changed is everything under the hood. So you saw it yesterday. It looks a little like a massage table. If you take that mattress off, it's absolutely packed with computing power and engineering under the hood. So the arms on the table themselves, they're able to move up and down. Now, maybe we didn't deliver that one for you yesterday, but the arms can move up and down the table, and they can actually work on different parts of the body from around here, the base of the neck, all the way down to the feet. So that's really what we've been focused on here in terms of that engineering. And then with the compute, we do need an internet connection. We remember a profile for each of our members on the table over time so that we can remember their preferences, their massages. We can download new updates to the system. But once the massage starts, the whole thing runs directly on the table itself. So we need to have quite a bit of computing power under the mattress there to make it happen. I'd say one funny story, which is we were investigating a heated mattress. Maybe you experienced yesterday, we have heated air points on the system, which is a real nice feel.
I did feel that they were warm. It was very nice.
Yeah. So we investigated a heated mattress as well. In the early days, it turns out we don't really need one because we have so much compute under there. It keeps it just gently warm.
Keeps it warm.
All by itself.
That's funny. Has its own heating pad.
Yeah.
So what kinds of engineering are needed to make that idea a reality?
Yeah. So the majority of our company, as you can imagine, is engineering. Right? That's the way the bulk of our team is right today. But thinking about the development cycle over time, to go from that original prototype, which was built by maybe 1 or 2 mechanical engineers and just a handful of software engineers, we had to first of all then hire a bigger electrical and mechanical engineering team that needed to engineer that system for mass production rather than a one-time prototype. That was where we originally started. At the same time, then we started building out the software team because it's not just the engineering code to run that massage. And, it's very different to run it one time in a prototype versus something that's going to run out on our customer sites at hotels and elsewhere. But we need to then have an app that people can select a massage and control it. We need to have an app then for our partners, the hotels and country clubs, to be able to control the system and make sure they can check in on people when they're using it. We need to have a set of management tools that our team is building here. So a significant amount of software engineering over and above just delivering the massage, but making sure that we do that end to end with quality, with reliability and scale. That takes some time. And those last 2 years have really been about building that out. The transition then goes very much from engineering on the how do we build this side into operationalizing it. So then we're hiring people like supply chain, manufacturing. And so we're actually looking at those kind of manufacturing engineers, quality engineers. We have a robust quality team that does an awful lot of testing, not just in course safety, which is a top priority, but every aspect of making sure that the system is going to work reliably when we ship it to a customer. From there, hiring people like salespeople, partnerships, all here. We're looking at customer support. That's really been the arc of the company over the last 2 years, as we've gone from that handful dozen people up to the 200 plus people we are today.
And how do you find the manufacturer? I mean, this is not a thing that's been done. Like, how do you decide where, how, and you'll get it built?
There's some interesting timing that goes along here as well. So as we were shifting to that manufacturing phase, it was the end of COVID, things were changing. And as you probably know, there was a lot of changes in the connected fitness space at the time. And so it turns out that maybe Peloton's loss at the end of the pandemic was our gain. And so we were able to pick up people from companies like Peloton, from Tonal, who've been manufacturing this kind of fitness equipment at scale before and during the pandemic, but maybe had a bit of a wobble then post-pandemic. We were able to bring some people on board who already worked with very similar manufacturing partners. And so we have a super experienced manufacturing and quality team, because actually it turns out they built all of these systems before, which is great. Now, they aren't robots, but from a manufacturing point of view, there's a lot of similarities between the different.
That's great that you made had a little silver lining there. Is the device all built in one place, or do you like get different things from different places?
Yeah, so we do have a number of different suppliers, but the majority of the system is built out in Asia. So that's been going well, but it's built for a number of different suppliers. It's assembled in pieces and tested there, and then brought out to the US for final assembly and delivery on site. So on site mission, we test and we certify the system directly in a customer location. So majority of the system in Asia, multiple pieces coming together, and then final commission and testing on the customer site.
So if I order one and I'm in Texas, the device goes right to Texas and your team goes in and sets it up.
That's right.
We spend a lot of time on site making sure that A, the system works perfectly, right? B, that everybody on staff on the property understands what it is, how it works, what it feels like. They need to be able to share their experiences with, like, let's use a hotel and a spa an example, what it feels like to their guests, right? We want to make sure that the front desk area knows what it feels like, that the valet team knows what it feels like. The spa therapists use it. So that's a program, right? We have to go in there and do it. A lot of times, in our industry, when pieces of equipment arrive, there's no one there to set it up for them. I'm looking at a lot of facial equipment and things like that. But our team goes in, we don't just go in, but we have to stay. We want to make sure that this rollout is going to work. It's a new thing, right? This is very different than anybody's ever seen before. So there is some hand holding that goes along with it that we do, because we also want to see that location be very successful with it, so that we can prove to everybody else that this is working.
Paul, how did you arrive at the pricing model? Could you describe that a bit, how this will work?
When you say pricing, do you mean pricing for the consumer or pricing for
the professional? Let's talk about that first.
So for the guest who comes in and gets a system, gets a massage with us, our base price is $2 a minute, $60 for a 30-minute session. That's if you're open to the public, right? If people can find you via our app, we want to make sure that's the base price. But that doesn't mean that's the price that is going to happen for the guest at those locations. A lot of it has to do with A, the market, B, what type of amenities and facilities these properties have. So for example, we go into, let's say, the Four Seasons, right? That they're going to have a phenomenal spa. Their pricing for their services is going to be a lot higher, but there's also a lot of amenities that go with it. So you're not just getting a massage, you're getting an entire experience. You can spend the entire day there. Their pricing point is going to be very different than a location that might just offer massage alone, right? So there's two different versions of that. You want to look at what's going on in the market. You want to look at the amenities. And then what the business wants to charge for the service themselves. So they have some freedom to do that. But we just want to make sure that the base price stays at the $2 a minute.
Property pay, what does that look like, that relationship?
Well, you got to think of it from a couple of perspectives, right? We have a massage therapist that theoretically could work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? What would you pay a massage therapist to do that, right? You couldn't just pay one. You'd probably need 4 of them to do that, right? to be able to offer massage for that long of a time, we're looking at an opportunity that we've never really seen before. We can now give guest massages at 10:30 at night when, the spa is closed, right? So when you think of it that from that perspective, our price point, I think, is quite fair. It's $84,000 a year, and it's a 3-year lease. Now, included in that price is full service and constant upgrades. So as soon as we drop or launch a new massage, it'll be automatically added to that system, and then the guest will be able to access it and use those types of massages. So it's an ongoing partnership, right? With the services there, you can pick up the phone, call the service team. We have a national support team also that handles anything that goes along with our hardware, but software, fast, quick. I mean, it's really amazing to see, like, as we're doing installs with these locations, as we're getting the systems up and running, making sure everything goes smooth. If something doesn't go right, there's an entire flurry of activity between 5 or 6 different people managing that piece of equipment to make sure that it's up and running properly and very, very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Annually or monthly?
I'm sorry?
Annually or monthly is the payment plan for the property.
Well, they could do a couple of ways. They could pay up front. And there's some locations that have no problem doing that. Certain casinos, right? Casinos, they are cash flush, right? So they have no problem paying up front for those type of things. Some of our smaller partners, perhaps they're going to do the financing model, which they're going to pay $7,500 a month for their units instead. We're trying to be flexible. We know that not every spa can afford that much money up front. Sometimes CapEx doesn't cover all of that. So we wanted to give them the financing model, and that's been a game changer for us, honestly, when we launched that about 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah.
And what happens at the end of the 3 years?
Well, they have to make a decision. Do they want to stay with us and continue with it? If so, great. Then we want to make sure that system is refurbished and up to speed, and make sure that it's consistent, because you have to think of it. This is not just one unit. This is an entire system. So if a guest comes to get a massage, let's say in Texas, and they want to get the same massage in San Francisco, the system has to be consistent. We have to make sure that we're able to deliver a consistent massage no matter where they are.
Mm-hmm.
So I may continue my lease at the end of the 3 years, or is it a purchase option at that point? What? You don't even know yet, right? It hasn't happened.
Well, we don't plan on ever selling our units. These are something that we want to continue to lease out, because it's part of the process. We need to make sure that we're able to upgrade it and service it in the same way. Sometimes when you buy an item, that's pretty much it. Then you have to pay a service plan or things like that. And fitness equipment's very similar, right? You buy it, and then there's a tremendous amount of money you pay also for the service of it. And in our system, it's all wrapped into one.
Yeah. Well, I want to say, while we've done thousands of hours of reliability testing on our systems, we're very confident in the reliability of them. They are new. And so for us, we want to make sure that we have that very high quality service arrangement with our customers, and that we're going to guarantee that these platforms and systems are working well.
Yeah. That's part of our...
Is there any kind of revenue share with you, or is it just the monthly fee?
We did launch with a couple pilots with a revenue share at the very beginning. We had to get them out into the market. We had to see how they acted out in the wild, right? And so for very select partners, we offered profit share. That period is done now. Now it's going to be straight lease, and then any revenue that's generated out of the system goes directly to that partner.
And are there consumables, Paul, that the property would need to also purchase?
Yeah, the biggest one would be the attire. And, probably to your listeners now, they're like, what are you talking about? Attire?
Yeah, I wanted you to mention that. You have to wear a special outfit, with tight pull-on pants and top to get this massage.
And you look fantastic in yours, by the way. So, yes, that's part of it. Now, a couple reasons for that. Number one, we don't use oil or lotion, right? And so, obviously, that makes a lot less laundry for anybody that's offering massage, a lot less cleanup, and a lot less other consumables like oils, lotions, things like that too. We also need the air points to be able to glide over the body well, right? And so that's why we require people to wear the tighter attire for what during the massage. The other side of it is the scan. We need to make sure that we get a really accurate scan on the body. And so wearing that attire allows us to scan the body perfectly. This is why you and I could have exactly the same massage, even though we're shaped very differently. and it feel exactly the same to us because the system is now mapped out dimensions based on our body size. And to do that, we need to be able to scan the body pretty tightly. So the attire has to be pretty snug. Yeah.
I mean, it's basically athleisure wear, like you'd wear workout pants, yoga pants, and a top. It's nothing strange, but you do have to change. However, you're changing in the room with the device, I guess, in most cases. So the property buys like a selection of these outfits.
Yeah, well, for this year, anybody that's partnering us, we're offering 200 units of attire, right? So
Mm.
for the men, 100 for the women. This has a long life cycle, right? And so when you add up what you're going to spend for laundry of sheets and blankets and bolster covers and face cover covers and more sheets, it's minimal compared to what we were spending, what a spa would normally spend in that regard.
Well, you made the great point about laundry. I mean, the amount of laundry that is generated from a massage room running 10 hours a day is just unbelievable. So to not have that cost or worry alone is very appealing.
My last role, I think we were spending around between 47 and $52,000 a year on linens.
Uh-huh.
Think about that, right? That's a large outlay of cash.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, in your case, you would be swapping that out for, one massage table, but you still have the other massages. Let's talk about that integration because, Paul, this is the issue that we face when we bring up robotic massage in our industry. Wait a minute, and you want to be clear that we're not putting therapists out of work and the device will never take the place of a therapist. We want those relationships to continue, and people should have their regular therapist that they see, who knows them, who knows what goes on with them. Nothing can replace humans yet, but what's your situation? How do you say to your prospects, this is how this fits into your spa operating model?
I've been having this conversation for 3 years now,
Mm-hmm.
right? And when I first started seeing about it, I started asking therapists what they thought about it. Of course, I still read some of the comments that when people post a massage, and then there's always those that feel like we're out to take their jobs, right? There's
Mm-hmm.
that think that robots will never replace humans, and that's really not what we're trying to do. I think when people say those things to me, there's usually a few things that I go through, four topics with them. The first of which is this: there's just not enough massage therapists out there, right?
Kidding.
I spent so much time as an operator recruiting, hiring, trying to develop longevity programs to keep them working and happy. They're like, they're like fine athletes, right? You have to make sure you're not overworking them. And if
Mm-hmm.
you don't have a massage therapist in your spa and you don't have enough of them, you're never going to hit your numbers. It just doesn't mathematically work. You have to have your massage therapist on your team to hit budget, right? When you don't have enough massage therapists, and nowadays I talk to hundreds of different locations around the United States that struggle finding massage therapists. It's not every,
Everyone I consult with is looking for therapy.
and
And
it's
it's
not
the number one demand service that we have.
75 to 80% of the business is coming out of massage revenue. Um, and then finding good ones, finding those that want to put the work in, that really care about your business and their guest. That's a whole nother animal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So finding massage therapists is one thing. That's the first part. The thing that really triggers massage therapists is they think they're being replaced and human touch is being replaced. What I usually counter that with is the fact that only 21% of our population gets massage right now. This is not numbers from us, this is and us, but from AMTA, from NCTNB,
Mm-hmm.
from SPA. Think about that. That's 79% of our population that doesn't get massage. Of that 79%, I would wager about 45 to 50% of those people don't feel comfortable with human touch for whatever.
Mm.
So there's a tremendous amount of barriers that people have for getting massage. Maybe they don't feel comfortable with their bodies. Maybe they don't like being touched by other people. Maybe they don't like the power dynamic that happens when you get a massage. Maybe they have trust issues, or maybe there's some, whatever it might be. They don't feel comfortable getting on the table and allow another person to work on them, right? Now we have an opportunity for those people. We know that everybody has stress. We know that everybody has tension and pain in their bodies. All these people have been kind of disregarded in a way. Now they have access to massage. I think that's a beautiful thing. My MO as a massage therapist, my entire career has been how do we get more people on the table? This is a vehicle for that. And so when you put it into massage therapist's head like that, they start to get it.
Mm-hmm.
The other aspect is this is just a tool. If you think about it, it's just a massage device. So massage therapists need to be using this as a tool for their benefit as well, for their own longevity. I used to work on professional athletes, some of the Carolina Panthers back, 30 years ago or so. Wow. Those were some big guys. I would love to be able to offload some of this work. Hey, hop on the table, 20, 30 minutes. Let's warm up some of those larger muscle groups.
Right.
Let me do some of the more nuanced work that I'd like to do. So some of the locations that we're partnered with, I'm working with the therapist there. I just had a call this morning about this with one of our therapists. Let's set up some treatment protocols that include the system and your massage, right? The last couple things are, what about the employee wellness component, right? HR does not love when therapists give massages to staff, right, and employees, right? We always want to find a way to take care of the people that we work with. This is a great vehicle for that. So now these massage therapists in the spa, if the spa allows them to, they can go in and get treatments done themselves. Then think about from a hotel or spa perspective, housekeeping team, locker room team, F&B team. We used to do housekeeping week when I was working with Marriott, and we'd try and roll out some massage chairs and get all the housekeepers in a room. As great as that was, and as much as my massage therapist loved doing it, and much as the housekeeping team loved it too, we couldn't see everybody, right? This way, we could have housekeeping month, and they could come in and off hours and get massage themselves. As an employee benefit, that sounds pretty damn good to me.
Love that. It's great. You're right. And there's so many hours in the day that the device won't be used. What do you think the average booking cycle will be, Paul, with it in a treatment scenario?
I think 30 minutes is our sweet spot right now. As we grow and develop, in a traditional spa, traditional massage, an hour is pretty much what we sell the most of, right? The fact that we can do both sides of the body, right and left side, simultaneously during the massage allows us to do more work in a shorter amount of time. So I think the 30-minute is going to be our sweet spot. Now, as we grow and develop, and that might change down the line, but I think the 30 minutes is going to be a great spot. The other side is that when I was an operator, my therapist hated going downstairs and doing 10, 15-minute massages because it took them away from it broke up their day, right? Massage therapists by nature, in the workplace, they're pretty much creatures of habit, right? They do one massage, two massage, three massage. They don't like a lot of changes in the middle of those things. You ask them to come downstairs and do chair massage, they don't always love that, right? So now a guest can hop on, do a 10-minute session, 15-minute session, 20, 30, 40, whatever they want to do, and doesn't bother the system at all, right? The system's not going to complain about that one.
Yeah.
Do you think pricing will differentiate between the robot and the human? Like, do you see that in the future? Like maybe on the menu it says, 30-minute with the Aescape, or 30-minute with a human, and they have different prices. How do you see that working?
I do. I don't think we should charge as much as for a human massage, right? We're not there yet to begin with, number one. But number two, the value of human touch is super, super important. I am such a strong advocate for my massage therapy industry. I love what we do. I still go get regular massages myself, right? I think this will actually increase the value of human touch in the future. The other side of that is, I think this is a gateway massage to other massages, right? Maybe someone did not feel comfortable getting a massage from a human. Now they come and get it on our table and they say, you know what? Maybe I will give a human massage therapist an opportunity. I think that's great too. Look, the more body work, we win, right? We win at the end of the day because more people are getting massages.
And who doesn't need it? I mean, we all need it. And I think you're right. Maybe you get on and you're like, oh, that wasn't so bad. Maybe I'll try a person next time. Do you see properties having them offered sequentially? I liked your idea about warming up on the device and then transitioning to a human. Is that something you've seen on a menu yet?
Not yet, but we're just getting started, right? Like, let's get our legs underneath us a little bit and see how this goes. But that's one of the things I'm working on with a certain property right now. How do we structure that? This is
Mm-hmm.
such a good thing. It's not like it's kind of like throwing in a steam room into the massage a little bit. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is in a lot of ways
Mhm.
prep work. So how do we use that? How do we structure it? How do we set up the pay? How do we make sure that the massage therapists are using it to their benefit? What do they
Mm-hmm.
think about using it? I'm actually very excited to see what properties do with it once they get it.
Mhm.
How
Mm-hmm.
they utilize it in ways that we haven't even thought about yet. So from my perspective, it's very exciting.
I always like to see therapists that we bring in to have a massage on our system for the first time, because sometimes, like you mentioned, there's definitely skepticism, right? How this cannot replace what I do.
Right.
The comment I hear most frequently when therapists get off the table is, "Oh, I get it now.
I get you.
I get it now. All right. Yeah, it's not the same thing, right? It's a different thing." But, even therapists then are saying, "Oh, you know what? I could work this into my routine because between other sessions, I can do some maintenance body work. I can just do something quick on the system here." It's a different thing in that sense, but it's nice to see that comment. "Oh, I get it now."
Right. It,
Yeah.
it is, it's like an epiphany.
Yeah.
Right. And it takes
Mm-hmm.
some time. And even the most ardent, people for massage that feel like robots will never replace them. Once we have that conversation, they traditionally walk away thinking differently. Right.
Hmm.
But that conversation has to take place. I wish I could go into every comment
Yeah.
on Instagram and respond to them. But
Hmm.
but you know what? They'll figure it out eventually.
Hmm.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I 100% see it as an augmentation to what you do. As a customer, I wouldn't always want that, but
Hmm.
I'd certainly want it instead of no massage. And given our staffing challenges, which are global, I work with 10 or 15 consulting clients across the United States. Not one of them has enough massage therapists. And the ones they have, they want to work less than they ever did, 2 days a week. It's like, how are you going to fill your treatment room? So we're not satisfying the demand of the guests in that model. I think this is sort of the great merging of the two. Alex, maybe you can speak to the stamina of the robot. Like, how many hours a day can it work before it wants a vacation or a lunch break?
Yeah. Now we've designed the system to run 24 hours a day. So there's no limit on how much we can run this system. We have specified it to run for at least that minimum of 3 years for the lease term, like we said, and we guarantee to support it from a service and maintenance point of view. So that system is going to run regardless of what we do here. That's really one of the underlying benefits of what we built. So yeah, I think over time we'll start to learn more about the usage patterns and what people do. But maybe to the comments most have made, like if you get off a long haul flight and you show up at that hotel at 1 a.m.,
Mm-hmm.
you know, maybe that quick 20-30 minute massage before bed is going to make all the difference.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to see this in hotels that don't have spas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Give us a guest room. Allow us
Mm,
to create this space for you. So now even hotels without spas have a wellness component to them.
Yeah.
To me, and they all have gyms, right? So why not pair this together and
Yeah.
give them some opportunity? Look, for a lot of those guest rooms and some of the more partial service hotels, I think they could generate a lot of money out of these.
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
So
I had a great conversation with the spa director at one of the hotel brands, and she said to me, she said, "Yeah, resorts, spas, of course, but where she wanted to put them was those hotels in the middle of America, the road warriors, the people are out there in the field, contractors, consultants, people out there surveying land. Those are the people," she said, "that I really want to give this to because they need it more than anyone."
agreed.
It's 100% right. I mean, to be able to get off a plane in, Omaha, Nebraska and go have something done before you go to bed would be just so great.
Yeah.
Absolutely. People struggle to fall asleep their first night in the hotels. I
Mhm.
know I do, right? I would love to be able to just walk downstairs, 11:30, get a massage, get
Mhm.
loosened up, get calmed down, heart rate drops, everything goes into more of a
Mm-hmm.
relaxed state, then go back to bed.
Mhm. So the sky's the limit for you, right? I mean, what's the vision in the next 2 years? How many of these do you hope to see placed?
Well, we're gonna have about 100 out this year, right? And
Wow,
then
that's
next
great.
year, potentially 800 to 1,000 tables out and into different many different areas. So
Mm-hmm.
look, I'm working with hotels and spas and like that. We've got a great teammate, Ryan Foley, who's working on corporate offices, right? He's working on residential towers, right? There's massive towers where people, like Miami, right? All these beautiful, beautiful residential towers where they have fantastic amenities and things like that. You could plug those into that space and charge all of the members, all the residents there through their HOA fee, and then just give it to them, right? They can do everything through their phone. It's fairly autonomous in a lot of ways, and once somebody does it the first time, they pretty much got it.
Yeah,
right? So I could see them in those environments pretty well. I really love that we're now with some professional sports teams already. I don't know if we're allowed to make announcements on that exactly. I'm going to be quiet about that. But yeah, so professional sports teams and their training facilities.
Yeah.
And then you look at people's homes eventually, right? I could see that. Our team would probably kill me for saying that because we know it's tricky to do. But at the end of the day, I could see that happening too. There's a lot of people who have asked to spend it already.
We've had quite a few inbound requests coming
exactly.
in. Yeah, for sure. What's been interesting over these last 2 years as we've been in the final stages of development is a lot of like, is this really going to work? Right? Like, really, are people really going to do this? And I think now as we've got to the stage where we have these systems in production and we're bringing a lot of the people we've been in contact with over the last 2 years in to get a massage. We've got these systems out in the wild and we're seeing just stellar feedback from people on the table here. Now I think we're seeing those dominoes fall where people are saying, okay, you know what? It does work. It is great. You know what? People love it. So I think that's really where we are today.
Agreed.
Paul, you just placed one somewhere in Florida, right?
Correct. The Kimpton Epic Hotel in Miami at the Provide Spa. This is an Arch Amenities managed property. Arch Amenities has been a fantastic partner for us. They were one of the most early partners we had. They came in early and they said, we see this. They had the right type of vision for it. So yeah, we've been placed there. We've been very busy with it. The team there is really fallen in love with it. They named it. So the name of the unit is called Arturo, which I think is adorable. And they have a very personal connection with Arturo, so they're enjoying using it. They're enjoying offering it, exposing it. There is a very unique nature to it. And so no one's ever seen it before. So I think a lot of the team really loves taking people into the room for the very first time and watching their expressions like, wow, what is this thing? Because look, at the end of the day, when you walk in, it's a sexy machine, right? It's a good,
beautiful,
beautifully done, right?
It's hard to tell. I'd say that's something we saw early on in our research lab as well, where you can show someone a picture of the system, but when they first walk in and they see it, the real system the first time, there's a moment, like, wow, this is a thing,
No, the arms are really beautifully articulated. I mean, it's lovely. And you know what's even better? It never calls out sick. That's going to be very appealing to many business managers for sure.
True, but there's another contingent of people that I've talked to so many husbands or wives that their partner doesn't like them to go get a massage. They don't trust happens in there. I don't think we have anything to worry about with our system in that regard. So again, just adding another opportunity for growth for a new type of guest to come in, a new demographic of client to come in and have massage for the first time.
Yeah.
Alex, you were not from the massage world. Do you get a lot of massages now? I guess you do at work.
I do. And you know what? It's interesting to me because I'd only been for a massage a few times in my life actually before joining Aescape. And of course, I go for a, let's call it human massage, should we say, much more regularly now than I ever did before. So it's interesting to bolster that up. But yeah, I get on the table here whenever I can. It's been interesting for our early partners too, like we said, rolling out in New York City here with some of the health clubs and gyms. We've been getting fantastic feedback from the staff because the staff are able to jump on the system out of hours, and it's just been phenomenal. So it's a little bit like us here. We can get up the system here, we do testing, but of course out of hours we can jump on the systems here as well. It's nice to see that same feedback from the staff at our customer sites.
Absolutely.
Once the staff has jumped on it, then they will proselytize to everyone else about how great it is. So that's a win-win for everybody. Well,
this too, just real quick, we talked about this yesterday. This is the first time people film their massages.
I love that. That's really funny.
Getting a massage, watching someone get a massage, maybe not the most exciting thing in the world, right?
No.
But being able to film yourself get a massage, you're fully clothed, right? So you're in there getting body work done. And if you go to any of our social media pages, you'll definitely see hundreds of people that film their massages over the course of time. I think it's kind of a unique aspect.
Yeah, to the point that we actually put in the end a phone stand in the room that we've supplied because people were looking to film them. And so we're like, okay, here you go, put that in
Here's
there.
the tripod. Oh my gosh, that is so funny. The new things we learn. Really fascinating. Thank you so much for your time, Alex. Linde, I know you're a busy guy, but it's really great to hear like what's behind this. And Paul, I know they'll go far with you. Anyone listening, look for Aescape somewhere near you, and you will get a definite escape. Great experience. Thanks again, guys.
Lisa, it's been a
Thank
pleasure.
you very much.
Thanks a lot.